Shalom. This is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. I want to start off by saying thank you to all of our Booster Club members for your many donations and much more, your prayers. We visited faraway countries and strange lands. We've even spoken to dignitaries and were detained for spreading the glorious gospel in Cuba. The truth is that the descendants of the 12 tribes of Israel were scattered throughout the world. Help us on our journey as we continue to raise up the nation of Israel. 12 tribes worldwide. Join or donate today. Shalom.
Most High in Christ blessed. This is Captain Ezra.
Shalom. This is Officer Homicide.
And this is 15 Minutes with the Captains. We're continuing with the series, The Genius of Israel. We're going to continue with that. We're going to continue to rebuild our psyche. We're going to continue to rebuild our pride and what our people do, right? So let's go to 1 Chronicles chapter 29, and I want to read 1 through 5. First Chronicles chapter 29 and verses 1 through 5.
This is the book of First Chronicles chapter 29 and verse 1. Furthermore, David the king said unto all the congregation, Solomon my son, whom alone God hath chosen, is yet younger and tender, and the work is great. For the palace is not for man, but for the Lord God. Now I have prepared with all my might for the house of my God the gold for things to be made of gold, and the silver for things of silver, and the brass for things of brass, the iron for things of iron, and wood for things of wood, onyx stones and stones to be set, glistering stones and of diverse colors, and all manner of precious stones, and marble stones in abundance. Moreover, because I have set my affection to the house of my God, I have of mine own proper good of gold and silver, which I have given to the house of my God, over and above all that I have prepared for the holy house, even 3,000 talents of gold, and of the gold of Ophir, and 7,000 talents of refined silver, to overlay the walls of the houses withal. The gold for things of gold, and the silver for things of silver, and for all manner of work to be made by the hands of artificers, and who then is willing to consecrate his service this day unto the Lord.
So do me a favor. I want you to pull up artificer definition. You got to look for it. I didn't put it in there. All right, look, I might have. Look in there. Let's see. Artificer. Let's see if yeah, there we go. I got it. So grab that and let's see what that means. Artificer. All right, read that.
Artificer. A skilled craftsman or inventor.
So we had skilled craftsmen and inventors among us even at this time. Skilled. They wasn't like, oh, unskilled. No, that means they were highly effective at doing the job of being somebody, a goldsmith or a jeweler. They had to work with all these different things in the building of the temple. So, but now let's look up, I got it in there, the definition of invention, because it said, or inventors. So what does invention even mean? Let's look that up.
The definition of invention, something invented such as...
Don't you hate when they use the word in the definition? But go ahead.
A device, contrivance, or process originated after study and experiment. Number 2, a product of the imagination.
Okay.
Especially a false conception.
But I want you to click the word invented up in there. Click that up there, up, invented. Click that. Let's see what this says. So this is the definition of invent.
Invent. To produce something such as a useful device or process for the first time through the use of the imagination or the ingenious thinking and experiment.
So wait a minute. So you produced something that never existed before. This is the first time anybody ever seen it. That's what the invention is. They're like, listen, I don't know what a remote control is. What the heck is that? And you like, no, I invented that. And go to your TV. What the hell is a TV?
Right.
But you invented that. You made something for the first time. And you was ingenious in thinking of it and experimenting to bring it to light. Right? So this is what it is. So I want you to keep that in mind, and I want you to pull up Jack Johnson. I got something in there for Jack Johnson. It's probably up. Jack Johnson. Yep, Jack Johnson. Let's get that.
Nickelodeon celebrates African Americans who imagined and invented really cool stuff. Today's inventor is Jack Johnson, a boxer who liked to use his hands to build things. He realized one day that his hands needed help, something that could make nuts and bolts and screws tighter or looser. So he invented a special wrench that worked like a hand and made nuts and bolts and screws really tight and really loose and could help him build anything. The new and improved wrench. Now that's a pretty cool tool. Learn more about Jack Johnson.
That's it. So this brother, but they didn't tell you in there, but he did that while he was in jail. So he ended up going to jail, and while he was in jail, he invented a wrench. So you know what we need? A wrench. The hell is a wrench? No, I'm gonna make it. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Yeah, this is a wrench. See how you use it? Oh man, that's cool. A monkey wrench, because they call him a monkey.
Right.
Oh no, yeah, it's a monkey wrench. The monkey's wrench. But he invented a wrench. He's like, listen, it didn't exist. It was an invention.
Right.
They looked at it and said, what the hell is that? So let's get some more. Let's go to Jack Daniels.
There is no mystery about what goes into Jack Daniel's whiskey. The popular drink has been around for 151 years, and its recipe is on the company's website. But a story about how Jack Daniel began his distillery is only now gaining traction. Michelle Miller traveled to Tennessee to learn how a man named Nearest Green helped make the brand a household name. Michelle, good morning.
Good morning. You seem to know a lot about whiskey.
I do know a little something about whiskey.
Uh-oh. Well, good morning. Well, some of the first clues about Nearest Green were in Jack Daniel's official biography, published back in 1967. Green was mentioned in this book about 50 times. Then his name seemed to disappear until one woman helped discover the truth at the heart of how Jack Daniel came to make whiskey.
It's important to set the record straight because anyone who accomplished something like Nearest did should be honored.
What Nearest Green, a slave, did was teach Jack Daniel how to make whiskey.
It was on the cover of the New York Times International Edition. It was possible that an African American was behind Jack Daniels, and it's never been spoken about until now.
For author Fawn Weaver, finding the proof of Green's legacy has become a passion bordering on obsession.
This is my research room.
Over the past year, Weaver's collected a library of documents, letters, and pictures, hoping to parse the truth from folklore.
Finally, one of the elders in the community, and she says, well, you know, his name wasn't really Nearest. Well, his name was Nathan, and he's from Maryland. The oldest letter here is from 1898.
After digging for over 2,500 hours and speaking to more than 100 relatives, it started to come together.
I got so excited.
Debbie Staples, a great-granddaughter of Green's, had heard the tales of whiskey from her grandmother.
I knew she had no reason to make up a story like that.
In the late 1850s, Jack Daniel, an orphan, started working for a wealthy landowner and whiskey distiller named Dan Call.
This is where Jack Daniel grew up.
Okay. Call teamed Daniel with Green, one of his slaves and his main whiskey man.
And then after slavery, he started his own company, and the person he went to first was his mentor. And he did not see race as a barrier. She began pulling out all this research.
Weaver soon found evidence in black and white. A 1972 article in the Tennessee Historical Quarterly listed Nearest Green as Jack Daniel's first head distiller. Mark McCall.
Okay, so he learned, this guy didn't even know how to do it. He learned that from this brother while he was a slave. Then after slavery, he said, you know what? Let me go back. I'm going to start a company. Let me go get that dude that just got free like 2 weeks ago. Let me go pick him up so he can come over here and help me build my company,
Right.
which is Jack Daniel's whiskey. But he learned how to do whiskey, and it's like, even when you look more into it on your own, it's like the way he did it is something that no European even knew how to do. They brought that technique, he said, from Africa. When you know that it had the way they do it, that's something that was African into making that work. Because I forget what whiskey would be if it's a certain technique that makes it whiskey. I forget what it is. You have to look into that yourself. But I want to get some more. I got something in there called Kenny Burns. This is something else on this one. Kenny Burns. And we're going to start at 12 minutes and 30 seconds in that one. Because this sister, she ended up becoming obsessed with this thing. And she ended up starting her own, like they got a new whiskey out that's named after the brother that started it. They got a new whiskey out that I think she partnered with Jack Daniels to do, that she has ownership in, and she helped take care of his family and all that. So she's doing a great work, right? But she also because of this, she's been dealing with the family closely, the living surviving members of the family. And 1250 is what I want to go to. All right. So I want you to see what happened. And you're going to get the point of why we even doing these classes like this.
But the Nearest Green Foundation.
Yeah.
Right?
It's the Nearest Green Foundation. And so they're going to be watching this. So, hey, fam. So everybody say hello to Nearest's fam.
Hey,
I can tell you.
What's up, cuz? What's happening? What's up, bro?
They will
Sis?
all be watching this when it comes on tomorrow because they love this show, number one. But it is the Nearest Green Foundation. One of the things we wanted to make sure in doing this is that it wasn't just honoring Nearest, which was what they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So what was important to them, what is important to him, is that when we die, his name is not forgotten.
Right.
And so I am out every single day telling this story because I promised them that before I die, I will make sure that his name is known around the world. And so I push incredibly hard, and they support me so much because of that. But to me, it was more than just honoring him. That was their request, and they would have been fine if that was all that we did. But we started 12 different projects, all to honor him simultaneously. And so that would take forever and ever. But if anybody's interested, it's nearestgreen.org, and all the different projects are on there. But the main project that I'm so excited about, that Kenny is talking about, is that we wanted to change the trajectory of an entire bloodline. And we thought, gosh, if we can do that, then all of them will go back into the community and they'll raise somebody else out of it. So Nearest has 7 children, 7 descendants that are currently in college, and we pay for all of them.
Oh.
It's a full ride. And
their masters.
We have one that is graduating in May that is going on for her master's. So I'll be at a graduation in May, and it's the first one that we're seeing graduate. So I'm super excited. But there was one kid, and he's going to be watching this. So Matthew, this is you. There was one kid who we were concerned about his ability to keep his grades up, because going into it, he couldn't really get into college on his grades. He got in because he was a football player, and he's a big guy. And they're like, but you got to make the minimum GPA. And he hadn't going into it. So he was going to pretty much be on probation going in. But they were going to let him play football. And he and we talked very briefly, but he understood through this story that he comes from a lineage of excellence, that his ancestors' legacy of excellence requires that he do more, that he become greater. And he went into college and he said, you know what? I'm going to redshirt. I'm not even going to play football because you're giving me the opportunity to live up to my ancestors' legacy. I'm going to do it. And after the semester ended, his grandmother, who calls me Niecy, she calls and she says, Niecy, Matthew's got something to say to you. And he gets on the phone. Bottom line, kid got a 4.0.
Wow. Nice.
4.0.
Nice.
And so there is something about understanding that when we come from a legacy of excellence and we can achieve greatness, we strive for something more.
All right. So the point is that because he learned that he came from excellence, he was able to take that and go and achieve something greater than he was able to before that. And that's what we're doing with these classes every single day in IUIC. We're trying to show you that you come from a lineage of excellence. Why? And it should generate in you change. You should be able to see the change in your person, in the way you act, in the way you perform in your tasks. This brother went from coming out of high school with a 2.0, go to college and get a 4.0.
We used to scream Black Power while heroin was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are how men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.